Guys, we are continuing on with our video series of modernizing the MyListing property demo. So we're going to get caught up on what I've worked on since the last video, and then we're going to look at some new tasks. I just want to say right off the top, it's not required, but you should absolutely go and support the MyListing developers by purchasing a support license. Which entitles you to the theme, obviously, and then you can import the demos. However, I do recommend you support the team if by buying a support subscription that encourages them to keep iterating on the MyListing theme and improving it over time and all that. However, I would stop there. I would not install the demos. I just cannot stress this enough. As I'm working through this, in the previous series, and as I'm doing this now, it's not going to save you any time. I'm not saying that just to say that. Go buy a support license from them to support them, but then consider coming over here and getting this very low cost, what will be a light starter site. Even if it's not, you don't want to build a car site or a property site, or we'll do the main site in another video series. You can turn these into whatever you want. Just because it's designed as a car site or a property site, it doesn't mean anything. You can go to the club, get a club membership, and then import listing types, templates, whatever you want. But it's, as far as like having a solid starting point, do not get the demos. I can't stress it enough. You're going to have, if your time is worth anything to you, don't do it, because it's someone who builds these all day, every day. It is so much work to get these up to par. Okay. All right. I'm going to get off my soapbox here. Let's get caught up. SEOPress. In the previous video, we I had trouble finding the actual pro software on this particular computer I record the videos on. So long story short, I found it, installed it. I got all the recommended base settings set up for SEOPress and SEOPress Pro. So that's ready to go for you. As part of that, the sitemap is also good now. So if we go to the footer and we go to the sitemap, we now see this is their property. One of the issues was the archive link color was this right here. So I had trouble matching that up with the others, but with some CSS, I got that taken care of. So go to WP Codebox. We go to the sitemap CSS package, and it was just this code right here needed to be tweaked. The next thing we had issues with was the single listing headers. So if we go over to, we weren't actually styling the single listings just yet, but we were going through the various theme options for, and I just happened to run across this because it's one of the settings. But we noticed in the last video that this header, if you went into theme options, single listing, and you tried to set a transparent background here, it just broke. And you couldn't do any kind of transparency whatsoever, even though the MyListing developers had set a transparent header and delivered the demo that way. We couldn't adjust it. They said a fix is coming for that. They gave me a temporary fix. So if you go to the support boards, you can get it, or the club has a code snippet for it. But it's basically just one line of code to unlock the ability to show the settings with ACF, and then they walk you through a few settings on how to what to do once you enable this and unlock ACF. Okay. But that had to be done. They said a fix is coming for it. But as you see here, we now have a transparent header. We're not getting into the styling of that header right now. I just wanted to show that it does work, but this is going to be fine tuned once I decide what I'm going to do with the design there. But again, the support board, they will provide all the instructions and fix. You can just look for my post in there. Newsletter. So if we go to more and blog, we needed a newsletter solution. So we're going to leverage the free MailPoet plugin, which has the ability to add forms. So just like we did on the car site, I mimicked that form. So I created it from scratch, but it is fully ready to go, fully ready for responsive mode and all of that. So over here in our dashboard, we go to MailPoet and forms. And that's this newsletter form right here. And it's already configured to pull from the mailing list. Once you get that set up, you just go to lists and it's already pulling from there. So it's already ready to go for you. And it fully works Right now, it's just displaying on the blog page, but you can edit the form to display anywhere on your site you want. But again, 100% free solution, MailPoet. Okay, so that's got us caught up. I want to go now over to Asana, into our task board, and we're going to pull up our tasks. Bear with me one second. I forgot to get logged in here. I just want to make sure for privacy reasons, I'm not displaying any client information. Okay, that is pulling up. Let's go into there. Let's go. Okay, here we go. So this is where we left off with our tasks. We are done with the newsletter task. Again, you guys can use whatever you want for newsletters, transactional email, whatever. But MailPoet's free. It's what I use, recommend for my listing websites or any WooCommerce site. It takes care of transactional email and newsletters, and it works. This works seamlessly. Okay, that's done. What else can we tackle here? Listing permalinks. Let me pull up the car site. I'm just trying to match what I did with the car site, so I don't have to think too much all over again about this stuff. That makes sense. Because we're doing stuff free, we're not going to install Permalink Manager Pro here or anything like that. We're just going to do basic permalink settings here for our listings. All right, so I'm going to copy this from the other site. We're going to go to settings and permalinks, and we're going to drop down here under the listing base. Okay, we're going to set this to be listing type / listing category, and then it's going to display the name of our listing. So we're going to save that change. Okay, that takes care of, I'm going to make another column for myself here. You know what? Nope, we got to bring this to completed because I need something for my notes because I always forget exactly what we did unless I go back and watch the video. So let's do this way. There we go. Okay, claim listings. We need a claim listing page. So let's go to, and you don't have to use claim listings. Just if you get this site, you can totally turn it off. But we're going to set it up so people are ready to go with it. So add page. Part of this is education, right? Claim listing. Okay, we do not need to edit this page. Do not edit this page with Elementor. We're just going to drop a short code block in here. So you can do the / that leans to the right, or you can click on this plus symbol up here in the top left to bring up your blocks. But we're going to pull in the short code block, and we're going to paste in the claim listing short code, publish, boom. Sometimes you see this with the block editor with WordPress, unfortunately. It's going to refresh. And oh man, I don't know why that didn't save. Let's go back here. The page is there. The block editor is not perfect, folks, by a long shot. That's not a MyListing issue. Okay, it's in there. Our short code is in there. Let's save. Okay, that's weird because it's in there and it looks like it's working. So let's now go over to dashboard, listings. Let's go to settings. And we just confirm that we have enable claim listings turned on, and we need to set our claim listing page, which is right there. Save our changes. Okay, and claim listing is ready to go. This is just a false positive. This is absolutely fine. I don't know why it does that from time to time, but we're good together. Okay, so let's mark that one complete. What else do we want to do here? Let's see. Let me close this down. Just looking at the other site here. Let's get some of these other pages in place. Okay, how it works page, for example, let's go ahead and just get that in place. We're just going to copy it from the car site. So this one we want to edit with Elementor, and then I'm going to do the same on the car site. And we're just going to paste this in, paste the content in. So if you don't recall or didn't see the previous videos, I'm just on the car site demo, right click, copy all content, come over here, right click, paste from other site, Control V. And then we have all of our content in there. And then all you need to do is go in and adjust this. Okay. So I'll give you a taste of what that looks like. So, but I'll do this all offline. So here we just, how it works is an H1. That is fine to get our default global font of H1. That's the size we want. Moving on down next, I think I had this at an H, it's an H2, but it's an H4 design. So it's H2, as we see right here, this is the HTML semantic tag for SEO. But under the style tab, we're going to set it to be H4. There we go. And then we're going to just keep moving on down the page. And we're going to style this number. And I think I did a global font of text bold. So we go to the style tab, text bold. And then I'll design up that border, however I'm going to design that. But then I can just come here and copy that and then paste that style throughout. Moving on down, the join heading, I went with, it's an H2 semantically, but by design, it's an H3. There we go. So I would copy that and just go through and paste that style all the way down the page where it applies. For this next heading, we have an H3 semantically, designed as an H4. So style tab, H4. And you can see this starting to take shape here. And then paste the style and we go on down the page. But that's pretty much all there is to it. Our buttons need to be use our global style. So we go to style. And then for our typography, we choose the button global font. Okay, same thing again. Copy, paste the style. All right, so I'm going to continue working down this page offline. Let me save this. I'm going to move this to the in progress column. So I'm just trying to get smarter about keeping track of what the heck we worked on here. Okay, so that is the how it works page. We can see that, taking hold here on the front end, but I will style all that up behind the scenes. Okay, so looking at the other side, we've got the add listing page, blog, cart, checkout, claim listing, contact page we took care of. We have an Explorer page. We have the home page. Okay, let's look at the home page. This is where you're going to start to see the issue, one of the biggest issues with the MyListing demos. Let me get rid of this notice down here. So when we look here in the what's called the navigator panel over here on the right-hand side, we see that everything is a section. So in columns. So this is really bad for performance. It's how Elementor used to do it many years ago. I don't know. I think it's like 3+ years at this point. We are now on containers and container grids. And we've been on those for quite some time now, well over a year, maybe even close to 2. So the MyListing demos are very far behind. This is very hard to style, hard to manage. It's not great for SEO. It's not great for performance. It's not great for anything. But this is one of the biggest battles you're going to find with these demos. So we need to convert all of them. And on top of that, Elementor V4 is like starting to roll out. It's not going to be production ready for probably another couple months, but that's going to change the game again. So we went from sections and columns to containers, grids, and then we're going to go to V4, which is going to completely change the game again. So the MyListing demos, long story short, are just way behind. Okay, tip of what you can do here though is with the whole page selected, you can go down here to the bottom left and you have this little settings gearbox. Click that. And then you can click this convert button. This is going to convert the entire page to containers. Now watch what happens. See all these sections here? I'm going to click convert. Boom. So it goes through and it duplicates every section, but converts it to a container. But you're not done. You got to come in here. Once you go into the containers, you got to style these up the way that you want. And then once those are fully ready to go, then you got to delete the old sections because you obviously do not want duplicate stuff in there. Okay, so let's just take a look at this together. Let's look at this hero section. All right. I'm going to leave that there so we have a reference, but I'm going to come down here and look at the container now, and I'm going to double click on it, and I'll just call this hero for identification purposes. We're going to expand that, and we see within that we have another container. Okay, so we have multiple containers taking place in there. We do not need those containers. Okay, you'll see that it created another empty container. You want to have as few containers as possible for to keep what's called the DOM. It's the structure panel, like when the code underneath in your browser and stuff like that. It's like a DOM, so it's like all the classes, the divs, the sections, all of that stuff. You want to minimize how many entries there are in that because that's going to speed up your page. It's better for SEO, better for troubleshooting and all that. So you want to keep your elements to an absolute minimum. So here we have an extra container we don't even need. We're just going to delete that. We have another container that we don't need here. So I'm going to click on heading and just drag that up a level. And I'm going to click on shortcode and drag that up a level. So again, we have this container that we likely don't need. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go to the main container here, and we're going to set this differently. So we're going to go, I don't know how I want to configure this actually. We might actually need another container here now that I'm thinking about this. Let me see how I did it on the other site. I just don't want to take too much time here doing this, but I want to show you guys like how you would go about it. Yeah, you know what? I lied. We do need a couple containers here. So I'm going to go to the history down here, and let's go back to here. Okay, that gets us this. Okay, we're gonna go one more level. There we go. So that gets us our containers back. Okay. Okay, so here we are, and then we've got the main hero container, and then we've got the next container. That's gonna have our heading. And then I think so then here, this container, which is empty, we're gonna drag that shortcode in there. Okay, we're then gonna set our hero container as that. We don't need to stretch it. It's not going to kill anything if you stretch it, but we just don't need to do that. I'm going to clear out the gaps settings. Like we should just inherit our settings from our global settings. So that is set that way. Then we need to go into the actual containers here where the headings live and change these. We're going to set this to justify content to center. Then we're going to go to the next container and we're going to do the same thing. I believe, let's see what I did here. Yep, same thing. What am I missing here? So we've got those containers. We definitely want this to be this way. There should be, trying to figure out why this isn't lining up. We need this to go, you know what, let's do this. I'm going to get rid of this shortcode. I'm going to copy in the actual basic search form just so I have an apples to apples from the car site. And then we're going to add, what did I do here? Let's add our listing types in here. Let's go for rent, and we're going to go for sale. There, you see how already, because we're not using that shortcode, it's lining up better. So that was the issue. All right, we're going to do tabs, transparent. Okay, so I will style this up offline, but I wanted to show you, like, if you look here, they did theirs a little bit differently. I see what they were doing. Okay, we could actually do that. If we do that, we can get rid of those extra containers even. So do we want to mimic that? Yeah, let's mimic what they did. Okay, so let's go back. I apologize. We're going back again. So move the heading back to the main container, move the basic search form back to the container. We're going to get rid of both of these unnecessary containers now. We're going to go back to the main hero container. We're going to set this to be centered there on the page. And we're actually going to set the hero direction instead of a horizontal row. We're going to go column vertical. Okay, we're going to move that over to the left now and center. There we go. So we're starting to get there. We're starting to get there. Maybe we'll bring, let me think here. Let me think how we go about this to get ours to look like theirs. I could just copy their, I could copy this shortcode block again. Nope, that's in there. It's because of the way that the container is built. So we need to address the container. Okay, so that is down. Can't go that way. So we can stretch it now. So maybe that's where stretch will come into play. Let's compare it to what's up here. So what they did is they put, you see how they have 2 columns here? So that's what they did. And they're just putting an empty column over there on the right that's just unnecessary. So we can do this differently. If we want this to be shrunk down, which I don't really want that to do that, we could come in here and we could do, under the advanced tab, we could do like a negative margin. So we could go to the right. Sorry, we could do padding. Maybe we do padding just to mimic that. So clear out the padding. And then on the right, you start adding padding to the right, and it's going to shrink that down. But I'm not sure we want to do that. I think we might just want this to go stretch out across the screen, but I'll do that all offline. But you'll see here, we went from a section, 2 columns, and multiple widgets there to just one section, one container, and then those 2 elements. So you really clean up everything by doing that. Now that we have that in there, I'm going to go to the top level section. I'm going to delete it. Okay. And I'm going to continue offline. I'm just going to work all the way down the page. I'm going to clean all of this up. What you see here is not how it's going to stay. I'll clean all of that up and I'll let you guys know what I did. But I'm just going to keep working down the page here and style all of this up. Okay, let me go back to our tasks and let's move. Where's the home page? Home page, home page. Am I staring right at it? Let's do home. Nope, not even in there. Okay, so I'm going to do home page there as an in progress task. What else do I want to do? Let's look at the add listing page. So if I click the add listing CTA, we've got this. I'll style this up. Sorry, I got like a frog in my throat here. So here's the add listing page for the car site. So we'll do something similar here. We'll style this up. Okay, so I'll put the add listing page. That'll just be done with CSS, and I'll let you guys know what I did there. What else? We are not doing region pages because this is just a light starter site. So we're going to get rid of region pages. We're not going to do author pages because we're not doing region pages. One, we don't have Elementor Pro, and we're doing mostly free plugins. So we don't have the ability to do dynamic content. So there's really no reasons trying to tackle region pages, which are highly dynamic. And the same goes for author pages. We can't do them effectively. Move my thing out of the way there. What I can't remember is, let's look at the car site. So I'm looking on the other screen. Give me 1 second here. Did I do anything? So if you don't do anything to your author pages, let's look at this. This is what your author pages are going to look like out of the box. And then let's look at the car site. So this is what we have over there. So this actually brings up another point, a good point here. This doesn't look too bad, but we actually want our preview card styling to apply to our author pages. And this is the author page that comes from the, with the demo. So let's check this out. So this will be a little bonus material. Here we have the car site. So I'm going to come over here and do our WP code box, our CSS, into our listing previews CSS package. We're going to go into the conditions builder, and we're going to add another group, and we're going to say, if the post type is, can we do the author page here? No. Let's see how we're going to do this. We're going to say if the URL contains the word author. You see how it contains it there? If the page URL contains author, let's apply our custom styling for those preview cards. Let's save that. Refresh this. Let's do a duplicate so we can see before and after. There we go. There we go. Very cool. So just like that, we've now styled that up, and that looks great. All right. Only thing here I'd change here is a couple of these. I like my first letters of each word to be capitalized. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So I'll do that offline. Okay. So we come back over here and we look at the author page for this site. We're gonna do the same thing once we style this up. So I'm gonna make a task in here. Listing previews apply to author page, so I don't forget. Okay, that is cool. All right, let's check out some other pages. So I'm over here on the car site. I'm just trying to figure out what other pages we want to look at. Let's get out of home here. Let's go back to pages. Okay, so let's do a comparison. We did how it works, my account, pricing, privacy policy, shop. We've got our sitemap page, support. All right, let's go ahead and edit the support page. Let's edit that with Elementor. And then on my other screen, I'm going to copy the content. I'm going to paste it in here. Okay, so this tells me when you get an error like this means there's something enabled on one Elementor site that's not enabled on another. So I think I know what that is. So we're going to go to Elementor and then settings. I'll show you this on my other screen here in a second. Nested elements. Okay, so we're going to close this. This is all good learning stuff. So we're going to go to Elementor, and then we're going to go to settings, features, nested elements, because our accordions that we're trying to bring over are nested elements. Okay. All right. So let's try our copy and paste again. I'm going to save this page and refresh just in case. Let's paste in our content again. There we go. Offline, I will style all this up just as I've been showing you. Like it'll all take place behind the scenes. There's no reason to keep you here. And then I will keep you updated on what I do. Let's go support page. For spam, anti-spam. Well, actually, first, getting ahead of myself. Are there any other pages I want to do or need to do? 1 second, 1 second. Yes, there is one more. Let's go to our pages. Let's create another page. We're going to call this image guidelines and tips. All right, we're going to edit this with Elementor, and then I'm going to copy all the content. I'm going to paste that in here. We'll go over this and we'll see this later when we get into the add listing process and the submit form. Okay, let me publish this. Okay, so all of those pages are apples to apples on both of the light starter sites. Okay, moving now over to spam protection. We go to plugins. We're going to add a plugin. We're going to add the simple Cloudflare turnstile plugin. So just do a search for that in the repository, and this is the one you want. Look for this little spinning animated wheel. It's an amazing plugin by Elliot Soursby. Click on install now. We're going to activate it, and then set up your free Cloudflare account. I have guides and videos on how to do that. If you're a client of mine, I'll help you do it. But you'll just come in here, and they give you really simple instructions on how to set this up. It's brilliant. I highly recommend it. Don't use reCAPTCHA. Even though the MyListing theme provides areas to use it, do not use it. It's going to slow down your site. It's hard to manage. It's not a good user experience. Just don't use it. Okay, so that takes care of our spam protection. What else? Get started page. We can go ahead and look at that. So let's go to pages. And I don't think I created a get started page for these. That's right. We didn't do that. Okay, so that's gone. Pricing pages. That is going to be, let's edit that. Let's edit that with Elementor, and then I'll do the same from the car website. Same process, copy all content, paste from other site, Control V. Okay, so I will style all of these up. This is pulling from, I'll set all of this up and I'll update all of you guys on this. But we've got that page in there. I'm going to mark that as in progress. There we go. The Explore page, we'll do that later. That's going to be styling it up with CSS. So we come in here. Yeah, so we'll do that later. Let's get rid of some of these pages. Okay. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. And hope you learned something in this video and it was helpful. And we'll just pick up later after I've taken some time to get some of these pages set up, and we'll move on to the next stuff. Catch you guys later.